So I'm halfway through volume 1 of Mistakenly Saving the Villain. Spoiler talk time. I did the ebook because the physical book, it's like really short, really, really thin, not worth the price for physical book. So ebook today. Wow. This book is probably the first Danmei book that has ever physically made me feel uncomfortable and disgusted purely by the contents of said book. Like, I'm talking like the first 145 pages, okay? The first 40 pages alone were like, holy shit, okay? Now, I think people don't really realize that I read the summary of the book, and if the summary interests me, I just dive in blindly, right? Because I don't want spoilers. I know a lot of the Danmei books have been friend translated, and, you know, people can read them online if they still can or not. So, like, there are, like, spoiler situations. Sometimes I feel like the spoilers are lies, like the ending of Husky and White Cat. I am saying, in my personal opinion. But wow, it was a lot. It was very much a lot. Like, I very much felt discomfort. And I did start reading this at work. You should learn not to do that. And my friend was watching my reactions, and she's like, are you okay? You look uncomfortable. And I'm just like, I am disgusted and I am pissed. Because, like, so the title of this book is called Mistakenly Saving the Villain. I'm sorry. He is not a villain. He is literally a victim. All right? He's a victim who was groomed. His dad sold him into this situation at the age of 8 for a damn ass elixir to extend his life. And that motherfucker didn't even live long enough, okay? He died. His kingdom was destroyed. He died. So you sold your son into this situation for nothing. I am glad that the dad is dead. Just shitty fathers in Danmei's, except for Uncle. Uncle from Husky and White Cat was actually not a shitty father, but he technically wasn't the father, but he was like an adopted stepfather. But like, I digress, okay? Like, give me a Danmei where the dads aren't like shitty, questionable people, okay? Shimei's dad was Shimei's dad was a problem. I do have nicknames for these characters. I personally don't feel like sharing them with you guys just because the nicknames are not nice in a way, but it very much encapsulates the characters in a way. Because what was his name was Wuhan, you know, the dude with the Phoenix birthmark. But I'm not nicknaming him Phoenix, but like, I feel bad for him, but also, bro, get your revenge. Get your revenge. Burn it all to the ground. If I told you his actual nickname, it would make a lot of sense, because our bro here was like, you know what? Life sucks. I don't want to live anymore. I'm gonna self-exit via tiger attack. Why? Just why? And our main character, who's been transmigrated into this novel, his name was Song. I'm pretty sure Q makes a sound. So Chingchi? I call him Dr. Ro. Okay. I'm confusing the Q and the C and the Z. So I'm hoping that's how you say his name. Because again, I'm doing the ebook, so I don't have a glossary to tell me how to say their name. So Song Chingchi, I'm sorry if that's not right. I feel like he's on the spectrum a little bit, or has ADHD, because bro hyperfixates a lot. He is also sheltered because he had ASL, so he was like, he knew he was gonna die, and he just studied and was overprotected by his mother and his upperclassmen, because they were like, he's such a fragile little boy, we can't let him like see the darkness of the world. When I mean like he hyperfixates and stuff like that, I'm talking that there were girls that were throwing themselves at him, okay? And he found it ridiculous. This one girl who kept trying to get his attention and his approval, he eventually told her, you know what, you should probably take all that energy into dating me, into studying, all right? Study is great. Just being around books is amazing. As someone who likes to read, I 100% agree, all right? But I would not study medicine the way that you do, bro. He actually gets her to study, and her grades shoot up, and then she gets accepted into this really prestigious postgraduate degree, like, program after university, and she's crying happy tears and thanks him for awakening the fact that she don't need no man. And he was proud. He's like, yes, study is the key. Study is amazing. And I'm saying all this because our little doctor here is so pure-hearted that he trusts people. So the whole point of the book was, his goal was to cure and save the main protagonist of the story. He did not. However, technically, again, I don't know why our little Wuhan was considered a villain, when apparently in the original story of the novel before he'd been transmigrated, he was just there and then he dies. That tiger attack was supposed to be his ending in the original storyline. So I'm just like, so he died before the main protagonist actually even goes further into the story. How is he the villain? He was never the villain. He was the victim. He's been a victim. Like, some of the stuff that's in this book is disgusting. And how the immortals treat humanity and stuff like that, which will not be a surprise here. Like, they know that they're doing terrible, awful things because they literally, on their little life soul thing, have a make sure you don't self-exit. Because again, in the first 30 pages, we have a slave who was a general and a war hero who is now the pet of a monk. Although I use the term monk very loosely because that motherfucker was not a monk, if I do say so myself. And they tradesies with another person for a fuck swan. And then this idiot took him outside to play with him. The monk didn't have a don't self-delete. So when the other dude took him, this dude decided to end his life with a chopstick to the throat. Do you know how much force it actually takes to stab something through your body? A lot. It's not easy like in the movies. It's actually very difficult. Before anyone asks how I know this, I literally had a Sergeant Marine, okay, from the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major. He told me this himself, okay? I have never stabbed anyone. Also, a chopstick is not that sharp. This man had a lot of anger and petty, and he's like, I'm going out my own way. And just, so that was a thing. I was just like, all right, oh, Jesus, all right, moving on. And our little Dr. Bro here, actually, he's probably my favorite main character out of the Danmeis because he's not a, like, be the bigger person type of thing. No. Once he gets our little victim here out of the situation that he's in, after nearly dying from a tiger mauling attack that he himself implanted, because he was tired of living this life. Because you know what? Respect. I know why you did it. I wish you wouldn't have to. And I wish we kind of burned the entire banquet down to the ground, but like, I digress. There was a moment where the dumbass dude, who is a predator, because when our victim here was handed to him on his 800th birthday, he had just become of age. He's human. So I pray that it was 18. It probably couldn't be. And he suffered for 10 years at this fucking Phoenix Mountain Pavilion place, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I literally had to take time away from reading this book. It took me a very good couple of days to read the first 40 pages just because of everything that was basically being thrown at us. And I feel like when it comes to this sort of books and like reading, when it comes to like trafficking and people being preyed upon in situations like this, you yourself have to figure out whether or not you can handle reading stories like this. I use Storygraph, and now they have like a little caution thing on it. It wasn't there when I clicked it the first time. Thank you. I looked at the tags for once, like the trigger warnings, and when I saw that list, I was like, oh, yikes. Thankfully, it doesn't actually go into detail, like fully about what is happening. We do kind of fade to black, and we get told tidbits here on situations that he was in and forced to be in, because when he was given to him as a birthday present, his life was already in a little life bead thing, and they can force you to willingly agree to partake in the awful, disgusting situation that he was put in, but you are mentally self-aware that you do not want this, but you are forced to say that you do. I hate that. I really hate that. I'm sorry. You're probably thinking, why would I read a book that clearly is not something I would personally really like to read and making me visibly uncomfortable and like the pit of my stomach would drop when I was reading this? It's because I feel like you are in charge of your own triggers and your own situational awareness. So in my gut, I was like, I can read through this. It's going to be sad, but I heard really good things about this book. So that's because my friend was like, Kathy, why are you reading this book? This sounds really bad for you. And it's just like, if I had to take a couple of days to step back and regulate my sensitivity, because I was already kind of like emotionally unbalanced when I started reading this book. I do feel like reading through it, you kind of understand why the choices that he makes later make sense. And again, I'm all for burning it to the ground. Burn them to the ground. I really wanted the doctor to just burn everyone down, because he can like burn people with like necromancy, fire hell or something, like death fire, and like you would be dead. And I'm like, do it. Burn them to the ground. They don't deserve sympathy, and they've been around a long time. And I was like, we can free everybody. But then he had the whole like, a bunch of fish would be like stranded ashore, and you could only save one. You can't save them all. And yes, I do know we can save a few, but not everyone. But I also do feel like you could have just agreed to take some of the servants, freed them a little bit. But he was hyperfixated on the one test that the system gave him, which was to save the protagonist. And I'm sorry, bro, you failed, because for some reason the files got corrupted. Okay. At least this is the first time the system has actually given our main character the actual plot of the book, instead of going, go crazy, like they did in Scumvillain. They were just like, you know what, do whatever you want. And then even in the Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish, they were just like, just change it, do whatever you want. So the fact that he actually had a goal in this one is just like, oh, well, technically, and like, my husband and I, sleep in a coffin, also kind of had a goal, but he also failed miserably. He got ejected from the body, but like, that wasn't actually a book. That was actually back in time. So that's a whole different thing. He was just obsessed with freeing him and spoiling him and take care of him, because he loves the fact that he's been transmigrated, because he was dying. He died. First opening line of the book technically is like, I'm dead. And I'm like, all right. What are you, fucking Yusuke Hirameshi over here? But all right. he took this very seriously, and he's like, I am an overachiever and I will pass this test, and I am hyper focused on being the best doctor I can possibly be. I do not care about eating or sleeping or taking care of my well-being. Technically, I don't really need that sometimes, so I'm good to go. So that, yeah, after he saves him from being multiple. By the way, Dr. Bro over here thinks that someone in the fucking pavilion was targeting our victim, and he's like, I can't believe someone was jealous of you and stuff like that. And he's like, jealous of me? Yeah, 100%. I don't know how that catnip got on my skirt. I wouldn't really call it skirt. It was mostly just gold jewelry dangling off his nude body, but okay. And also catnip, yeah. Catnip is the thing that drove that tiger crazy, which, you know, makes sense because catnip actually does work on big cats. It's been shown. So my friend, when she heard that, she's like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, but usually catnips make them like docile and stuff like that. But I guess this tiger was like, nah, I'm going to eat that shit. So he did bite him. Like he was being attacked. And everyone thought it was entertainment. And they were cheering and laughing. And I'm just like, y'all disgust me. I wish you all died. I hope you all die. I really should. Look. He's plotting on probably destroying everybody, and I'm all for it. And also, our main character is sort of slightly all for it too, because he's very desensitized to certain things. Like, he likes doing autopsies on cadavers, because he didn't get to when he was in the human world, because he was too sick. So he could only watch his upperclassmen do that. But now that he has an entire basement just full of cadavers that he gets to dissect all he wants. He's not normal. Also, he thinks that Wu Hyun over here could be a really good doctor. Because he basically becomes his wife. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, after he treats him and like heals him and stuff like that, and he realizes that he's safe, he basically becomes Shang-Chi's wife that takes care of everything, including his meals and going to bed and talking to the servants and make sure the estate is running. I'm just like, that sounds like a wife, but okay. Okay. He's like, he's my companion. He's my assistant. I'm going to spoil him. And I'm just like, oh my God. Okay. He has no interest in romance, he says. All right. And you lied to the system saying that you were good at psychology, but you didn't want to take one class and you failed miserably at it. So yeah, the system had a requirement. You had to be a good doctor and someone psychological to help the protagonist treat all the trauma that he's going through in this book. He's like, yeah, psychology. He took one class and he sucks at it, he said. He's very pretty and cute compared to our little Yi Wuhan here. And he finds him attractive, but there's a problem here, even though he acts like his wife. He very much sees him as a savior, as a god, and he thinks like, oh, you're too clean, you're like jade, all right? I don't want you to be dirty by touching me, because our little victim here very much feels dirty to the point where he wants to scrub his skin off his body. Yeah, he's working some shit. I feel like destroying the pavilion and setting the fucking monsters that destroyed his life on fire would probably do him a lot of good. Personally, just my opinion. And I'm proven right. Just a little bit. Because remember how I said Zhongqing has like an entire basement full of cadavers that he's been donated to? No, that he took over the body of a medicine king who is known to just not give a shit. Like, if he doesn't feel like treating you and you die, he's just gonna add you to decompose in this like mulch pile. Again, this is literally in the book. So people just send dead bodies all the time. And Woman comes here with like food, and he's not disgusted by dead bodies, because he's like, oh yeah, a lot of the people who came to the pavilion and had banquets, they enjoyed a lot of blood and torture, and then sometimes they would actually kill the slaves. So I'm just like, okay, you should not be saying that in a very detached way, but all right, whatever you need, man, whatever you need. So much therapy. Oh my God, he actually needs a therapist. He sees a certain cadaver on the table, and he's like, hey, can I dissect this one? And Zhangji's like, oh my God, he's such a good medical student. Yes, of course, but if you get queasy, we have a bucket, we need to like clean, put some gloves on, little mask. Like, he's doing very modern medicine in a timeline where there wasn't any. Dissect would not be the thing I would call what he did. It was more like, I have a sharp knife and I'm stabbing this body repeatedly, because this is one of the motherfuckers that tortured me at the pavilion. Oh, he died. Technically, the body was there for him to like figure out how he died, and they cut open his head and half his brain was missing. Apparently a bug got into his head and ate it, and that's how he died. A little Wuhan over here is like, wow, that must have been a painful, long, awful death. I wish he was alive so I could have stabbed him myself. So I'm just like, okay. Do you feel better? No? All right. Wuhan gets very possessive of Shang Jing, because possessive in like a really like full body way. There is a point in this book where like Chang-Chi is like, I hate long hair. It's such a drag. I don't even comb my hair and I hate doing it. So he took a pair of scissors, and I was like, ancient China, long hair is for a reason. Do not cut your hair, because that's bad. He gets found, which is like the scissors are like this close to like snipping, and he gets scolded. He's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to cut your hair? Why are you doing this? And then when Chang-Chi's like, oh, I don't really like my hair and it's too long and it gets annoying. So like his little wifey over here is like, fine, I'll do your hair. He starts combing his hair and like he puts it up in a braid and like a bun. He's like, there, I can do your hair from now on. So you don't need to worry about it. I'll do everything for you. I want to be, you know, useful to you, to thank you for saving my life. Literally. Like, you are too good and too pure for this world. But he does everything for Shang-Chi. Like, he's making business deal for this man. And, like, he haggles and makes, like, contracts. And Shang-Chi's like, yeah, he's a good student. He's my companion. I really like him. I'm just going to sign on the contract. Don't even read the contract. He just signs. And the other person who knows the Medicine King, he's just like, wow, he's either drugged or really into that pretty face. Because he didn't have any say in this contract or deal. He's like, nope, I trust him. And then you realize, like, you trust too much. You trust way too much. But I'm glad that you trust me because you're mine. I want you to be mine. Again, it's kind of creepy because at one point I think our little Chang-Chi here falls asleep on the like next to our little victim's bedside. Dude grabs his hair and takes a sniff of it and like breathes it in, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's actually creepy. That is creepy. Okay, you're like, I know sometimes like long hair can smell really nice depending on the product, stuff like that. I put lavender in my hair, so like I don't know about having someone like purposely grab it and then sniffing it because that's actually really weird. Like if you smell it when you hug somebody, that's a little different. So there was one point I find funny in this entire book. They're eating at a restaurant at one point and they hear these two cultivators talking about how stupid our little doctor here is because he's been taken in by a well-known pretty face, because everyone knows that he took him in, even though he technically lied to the dude at the banquet saying that he was going to use him as an experiment. He was not. He saved him. They're saying a lot of derogatory things about him. And honestly, Dr. Bro gets pissed. And he's like, you know what? That's not nice. That's actually really mean. So he goes up to them, and because he has a pretty face himself, people don't really know it's him, because like our little doctor here in the original story was recluse, hated people, hated talking to people. Like he had no friends, which worked out for him because he's like, I don't really need friends. I'm good with like just studying, reading books, doing experiments, making medicines, taking in apprentices to do doctors and shit. Because at one point he was like, you know, you here would be a good emergency surgeon. I was like, oh, yeah, if he was a serial killer, maybe. he's learning how to fight and use poisons and all that stuff. And he's encouraging it because he's like, yeah, no, I want you to defend yourself. So here's some daggers, here's some poisons, do some powders, defend yourself. I'm just like, okay, loving that. He goes up to these two idiots who are saying shit, calling him stupid because he got taken in by a pretty face. Everyone thinks that. And he's like, do you know who I am? And they're trying to flirt with him because they think he's hitting on them. And he grabs one of the cultivators' wrists, and when he says, I'm the stupid doctor that you're making fun of in the valley, he breaks it. They scream. He injects them with like this allergy scratching thing. So like they got like rashes and stuff like that. And to shut them up, he gives them a pill, which not only stops the pain, but also takes away their voice for 10 years. He's like, for what you said, you get a few days of pain and 10 years of no voice. Screw you. We're leaving. And after that, our little victim is like, I need to wash your hands because you touch filth. Because those cultivators are filthy. But he also thinks he's also filthy. Because then he wants him in a way where he can corrupt him. But also he wants to keep him pristine because he is clean like jade. So it's very... He's trying to control his malicious intent. Specifically just for him. But he knows slightly. Because I think anyone who actually sees their thing is like, no, I want to get revenge for you. Because during this time where they're getting information on how to permanently break the little seal that controls his life, they find out that the person who groomed him and sold him is on the run and hiding. And the informant is like, yeah, it must suck for him. And he's like, hey, if I hear anything, I'll ask them to give you like a discount for the information. And Zhang-Chi's like, no need. I will pay double if you give me his location right now. Because he wants to find him and destroy him. And I'm like, yes! The power couple of murder husbands. They're murder husbands. That's what they are. Oh my God. I love that. See, this is why I kept reading, even though it made me kind of uncomfortable, because I did hear really good things about this book. And honestly, yes, it flies by though. It really does. This book goes very fast, but I'm also upset that they stretched out the books to 4 books. There is one thing I want to say though. The art style for like the illustration pages is gorgeous, but also very reminiscent of Clamp's older works. It very much gives Clamp vibes. It's really pretty. Again, does not match the book cover. Although the book cover is still slightly better than my cousin, like my husband and I sleep in a coffin. That, So yeah, again, I'm only 145 pages in. I'm on chapter 17. So, I don't know. I would really like this first book to end with that banquet people being set on fire, then brought back to life, then set on fire again, then brought back to life, and then, you know, a cycle of torture. Just like how they tortured everybody else on that fucking mountain. I really want him to just destroy everybody. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. Fuck you if you actually think that they deserve to live, because they don't. They're monsters. They've lived long enough. They're over 800 years old. They don't need to be alive anymore. Goodbye. So yeah. I'm hoping we get more cute moments in the other half of this book. Again, 280 pages is not a lot to me personally. So, but it's fine. The other book that I have to read after this is The White Cat's Divine Scratching Post, which from what I heard is actually very much lighthearted, which is what I'm going to need after reading this. Because, Jesus. I've read sad story after sad story because Charlie and Eden's story was not happy. And now this one's not happy either, but this one's actually way worse, sort of. Yeah, no, this one's actually way worse. They still kind of have the similar structure with predators and prey, because they both did, kind of. But Eden's, I don't want to say it was a choice. It was not a choice. It was a life or death situation. So I would never say it's a choice. It's not a choice. So I'm hoping things get better, because again, I've heard really good things about this book series, and I'm hoping that Yu Han gets revenge, and his husband Song Ching-shi is beside him as they create chaos, and the system can go fuck itself. Anyway, have a nice day. All right, I finished volume 1 with Sneakily Saving the Villain. Spoiler talk time. Things get resolved. We get introduced to Long John, who is the Poison King. Surprise! This is a 2 yandere situation. I don't want to call it a love triangle, because it's definitely only one-sided. It's only one side. Well, Dr. Bro is clueless. He doesn't understand his feelings, but he is very much overprotective and obsessed with Wuhan being happy, because he really wants to ace the test that the system gave him, even though it's not going the way that he wants it to go. But it's fine. We meet another one of Wuhan's tormentors. Dude was getting mugged and got stabbed and left for dead. Because apparently in this world, muggings and murders and being orphaned is a common thing. All right. There's no hope in this world. Cool. Usually Dr. Bo, he sees this and he's like, yeah, we should probably go. This has nothing to do with us. Wuhan, who has, photographic memory, he sees this guy. He's like, oh, that's one of the low son of a bitch that tormented me and then made me beg for it. Can we save him? And, Dr. Bo, being the spoiled little rich kid that he's always been, who's used to giving and taking whatever he wants, he's like, yeah, sure, we can totally. He's your first patient. Oh my God, you're going up the ladder when it comes to being a doctor. He was fucking kind of a lector, maybe. So they take the guy and they treat his wounds, stabilize him a little bit. And during this entire time, again, Dr. Bro has spent a lot of money on medical equipment, lab research, white mice, so that he could, experiment on them like he did back in the human world. Apparently, white mice are super rare to find in the immortal world and very hard to get. So they're very fucking expensive. He's also trying to figure out how to get rid of the slave seal on Wuhan's back. So that's a lot to change, especially the fact that he said that he would pay double. This boy is rich. His parents made the money and he spent the money. He never gave about it. Because there was one point where Wuhan was like, hey, how do you plan on paying for some of these expensive equipments and the mice? Because that's a lot of crystals. And Wuhan, being the doting wife that he is, did the books and gave the ledgers to Dr. Bro to look over so that he's aware of the financial hole the medical valley is in. He's like, oh, I just glanced at them. Because he's too fucking trusting. He is lucky people take care of him. He would be dead. He would be dead. That's a thing. So before we worry about that, that's the reason why he invites Long John, which is the Poison King, over later. But first, we go through another therapeutic moment, which is what I'm calling it, with Wuhan and this creep, who had the nerve. First of all, he did awful things to him, thinking he won't remember me. Then the first thing he says is, do you remember? Because he can never forget that wonderful night, he said. Fucking asshole, he deserved what he got. Wuhan is very used to playing stupid and playing pretty, because he had to for years. Once he gets this dumbass to lower his guard down, even though he's already wounded, he puts a silencing spell on the room. He also knows that Dr. Bro would not interrupt him because Dr. Bro hyperfixates on his experiments. So no one's going to hear you scream. And he invented a new pill called the puppet pill, which makes your body not your own, but your mind. You're still fully awake, motherfucker. That's not familiar to anybody. He has his son gets clean because he's very OCD germophobic kind of thing, which is something that he has been since apparently he can remember. It wasn't just because of the trauma, because we get told later on about his back story before the trauma happens. I'll get to that though. He goes to visit, Dr. Bro after his little therapy session. Yes, I am calling it therapy because I think it's lethargic for him. All right? And he deserved it. Dr. Bro's only concern was, hey, so I should probably check on your patient because, I am technically the more advanced doctor and I want to help you make sure that your patient is, staying alive. Well, he just goes, oh, I forgot to tell you. He woke up. Woke up 3 days ago, actually. And just really wanted to go. He said he was fine. Dr. Bro's like, oh, well, I mean, we can't force a patient to say if they don't want to have any more treatment, so that's fine. Anyway, have you read these books? Also, I've been letting the Poison King to be an angel investor in the Medical Valley because we are in the red and I owe people money. We move forward to Long John, who is An Long, I think that's his actual name, but he's a douchebag. And the other younger egg. Because when we first get the illustration for Long John, first of all, the one thing that surprised me was the fact that he had short hair. And I'm just like, ancient China plus short hair, we literally just had a moment with Wuhan scolding freaking Dr. Bro from almost trying to cut his hair. So, I mean, like, you're the Poison King, though. You can do whatever the hell you want. And also, if anyone smack talks the doctor, you'll end up as a cadaver gift for said doctor. Because remember how, in the first half of the book, they had a cadaver that Wuhan wanted to dissect, and it was one of the assholes that hurt him. Turns out, this asshole, who could also not forget that wonderful night that he had with Wuhan, sick son of a bitch, started smack talking the doctor, calling him a bunch of, weird things because, like, he's secluded, he doesn't like people, really stupid fucking thing to say to a guy who could literally just let you die and put you in a compost pile, but okay, that was a choice, not a smart choice, but whatever. And he's like, I don't like you bitching about my best friend and my obsession, so, I'm gonna kill you. Long John kills for funsies a lot. Like, he's used to doing whatever the hell he wants. He is the more extroverted, aggressive one out of the two. Like, you would hope Dr. Bro would be the person that you would piss off. At least he might listen to you for like a second. But he also is, if you did something wrong, he will probably gut you. Again, we'll get to that later. I don't like Long John because he re-traumatized Wuhan. Because he doesn't like the fact that Dr. Bro is finally paying attention to somebody. And he even was like, well, what do I call him? Like, what is he, your disciple or something? And that's when Dr. Bro realized, oh shit, I never gave him an actual title. I just treated him like a secretary. And I was like, well, Wuhan technically acted like your wife, but okay, secretary, butler, whatever. He becomes a disciple. He didn't want to become his teacher because last time dude had a teacher, he was sold off into 10 years of hell. But Wuhan doesn't even consider him the same level because he totally respects him because he's clean. He's always been obsessed with cleanness. And like, that makes sense because he literally thinks that Dr. Bro is pure. He might as well be, but not truly. Pure in the sense that he isn't gone through the shit that Wuhan's gone. Wuhan still very much does not like his body. Anyway, because of this stupid illusion bug thing that Long John likes to use, which apparently is how he gets away with not having to sleep with a bunch of women, he just injects them with this bug that feeds off of your deepest desires and gives it to you and makes you believe it. I'm like, dude, these girls are trying to actually go to war for you and you don't even actually sleep with them. Maybe don't do that. And how do I know this? Oh, because later on, Wuhan, this is why he ends up getting the bug in the first place, because he might have teased Long John a little bit too much because it's territorial. Like, these two are like, they're dogs just pissing everywhere. They're both territorial about the same fucking doctor. He tries to flirt with him because he knows he's prettier than any woman ever will be. And Long John gets a little flustered, which makes sense seeing as he clearly is kind of in love with Dr. Bro. I hope it's in love, but the fact that he does a lot of killing for him later on and then he bites him on the neck and actually breaks the skin makes me think that's not love, that's obsession. Okay? Because he's probably the only person that actually respects him because they both are obsessed with poison and medicines and stuff. So it's more of a, you're the only person that would ever actually get along with me and I would really like you to be by my side. Like, okay. And he clocks Long John being like, oh, you're a virgin. Like, he's like, I've dealt with shitty ass people who sleep around. You do not give me that vibe, which means you're 100% never slept with someone. The famous playboy has never slept with anyone. And that's where the bug comes in. And again, Long John is pissed, so he does that. He honestly doesn't know anything about Wuhan, even though Dr. Bro gave him 27 rules to not fuck with him. And he's like, what is he, fragile like glass? And it's like, yes, he actually is. Please don't fuck with him. And he does the one thing no one wants to do, and he like triggers him. The dream was literally just Wuhan's complete desires, which is his actual body for the age that he actually is, because he's still trapped in a teenage body. He hates it. Peaceful, cultivator, well-known. And then Dr. Bro and him just fall in love in a really romantic, silly way. It was a very peaceful life where there was no trauma or anything, and then just live by themselves, which is very sad that that's what he wants. But the illusion bug is not 100% perfect, and he saw his reflection of what he truly looked like. Ironically, he hates his mole, because in the illusion dream he did not have the mole, but he does in real life. And this is important because after his little mental breakdown, Dr. Bro puts him in a coma because he is full on having a panic attack and he is fucking pissed. So once he put him in the coma, he's still keeping a sense like on him, but he's like, he knows he's supposed to be asleep. And Dr. Bro goes to ring out Long John for the shit that he did. During this, Wuhan wakes up and let it be known that Dr. Bro removed anything sharp and pointy out of Wuhan's room in case he tried to off himself, because he did try to do that in the bathtub. I'm just saying. When Wuhan wakes up and he sees that he's still in this stupid ass teenage body that he's trapped in because of the stupid seal, he sees the stupid red mole. He has another mental break and then breaks a ceramic pot or something, takes a jacket piece and tries to cut it on himself. And when Dr. Bro notices that Wuhan is awake, he rushes to the room because he's like, oh my god, please don't do something stupid. Please don't do something stupid because you just relapsed after all these months of progress. One of the reasons why he's still pissed at Long John. Sees that and he's like, oh my god. He's like, if you want the mole gone, we could remove it surgically, professionally done by me. I will get rid of it if that is what you want. Hopefully your face does not scar because it was not sharp enough. Oh my god. That happens. Luckily, again, he's a wood elemental, so he does technically heal without scarring, and they do try to get rid of the mole again 2 more times because it grows back. And I guess it's just part of the seal spell thing. I don't know. Either that or it's cancerous. Please don't actually be cancer. Please don't do that. No, I want a happy ending for this character. He's gone through so much. And again, he had a point where they're trying to find the stupid ass teacher that sold him. And like, it's taking a while. To the point where Wuhan even said, well, maybe I was meant to go through this. And I'm like, sweetie, no. No one ever deserved to go through that at all. It was all kind of messed up because I literally found out that not only did they want Wuhan, they made jokes about going after his mother. And I'm just like, God, that's disgusting. But again, his family in his kingdom is all destroyed. So there was no worry for that, at least. Because of the relapse and all that jazz, Dr. Bro starts sleeping in Wuhan's room on the floor to make sure that he doesn't try to off himself again. That goes on for like a few days until Wuhan wakes up one night. I don't know how he didn't notice, and sees Dr. Bro on the ground. And he's like, oh my god, never in your life will you sleep on the floor when I'm here. And before he could offer to switch places, because that's what originally what he wanted, Dr. Bro's like, oh my god, we're gonna share the bed because like it's like big enough for 3 people. And he's like, I'm so good with sharing a bed. I don't ever move. You won't even notice me. Wuhan, because, you know, of his clear obsession and all that stuff, is kind of like, I don't think we should do that. Note that at this time, to ask for forgiveness, Long John gave Dr. Bro another bug, but this bug is actually to control your desires and stuff like that. So, Wuhan's desire to himself is being controlled by the bug, the lock bug, I think that's what it was called, but it's also his desire for Dr. Bro. Note that there is a point where the bug was like, I can only take so much. Your desire is too strong, and I cannot keep eating this. They end up sharing a bed against Wuhan's better judgment. And this is where we find out that Dr. Bro has never been told off in his entire life because that dude is an octopus in bed, which is terrible for Wuhan. And the thing about it is that just before this doofus wakes up, he rolls back into his normal position. So he's like, see, I told you I don't move in my sleep. And Wuhan, that poor baby, has to grit his teeth and said, yeah, you really don't move at all. I said, so, oh my god. Because he's trying to control his lust for Dr. Bro. Both of these idiots actually have really good self-control, for the most part. Now because of the bug, because I'm pretty sure Long John also uses the bug to control his desire for the doctor. So, you know, that's a thing. That's a thing that happens. Moving on to the happy bits, because I personally think this was happy. It's also really dramatic and sad. We find out that Wuhan's birthday is actually Valentine's Day. So once Dr. Bro finds that out, he's like, okay, well, it's January right now. His birthday is coming up. I want to get him something really nice. I have no money because I spent it all. And we're going to fix that eventually. I'm just going to have to make business deals on my own. And I'm just like, please don't. Let Wuhan do the business deals for you, honey, please. Because his dad and sister were actually the business people when he was mortal. His informant comes in with the teacher's location. And, you know, Dr. Bro says, hey, I'm going to be gone for a few days to go kick something. Like an invention or something. He doesn't say it's a birthday present. He's like, I'm gonna go pick up the invention because like they say it's ready, which is basically just code word saying like, here's the location, deuces. He goes to the mountain and it's peaceful. It's beautiful. It looks like paradise on earth. Ironic. There's like 20 disciples ranging from the age of 6 to 18. Okay. I thought this son of a bitch only had 1 disciple at a time. But no, he takes a whole lot of them. Dr. Bro goes there, gathers information, sends his bugs out. Again, his best friend also is bug obsessed. And they lock in on the teacher who is dragging a small boy to get punished for trying to steal food from the kitchen when he wasn't supposed to. Dr. Bro notices that this boy kind of resembles Wuhan a little bit when he was younger, which is disgusting when you find out later that the Phoenix Pavilion Mountain place requested a new Wuhan after the other one got rid of. 6 sons of bitches. Once we finally find the doctor, you know, at the school, whatever hellhole you want to call it, he sets them on fire. Like there's I think a 16-year-old girl and this boy. So I'm gonna say like maybe he's like 6 or 8 years old. Dr. Bro sets the asshole teacher dude face on fire because like you don't need this. You really don't. Because I think the one thing that Dr. Bro was hearing the small boy also say that he really loved his teacher. Even though the teacher clearly loved Wuhan the most. But he says, well, Wuhan is studying at this other sect and he doesn't even come visit you. Yeah, I wonder why. The fact that he still uses his name and tries to, why can't you be like him? It sickens me, okay? So Dr. Bro's beating the fuck out of him, burning him, because he needs to find something in him to break the seal. And also, he needs to pick up something because he wants to give his little angel a present. Note that this dumbass tries to beg for his life and then offer up some of the children, specifically the young one that looks like Wuhan as a child, to Dr. Bro. Like he was any of those sick motherfuckers that would actually take a person like that. Like I was so heated when I read that. He starts burning his arms and legs because he was trying to crawl away. And then once the girl sees that the teacher is not gonna get away, even though he's trying to get to a magical escape, so like just disappear. He's still gonna die because once the hellfire gets on you, it doesn't go out unless Dr. Bro dies. So, and that's not gonna happen anytime soon. She rips down a scroll to reveal this magical area that's going to probably teleport the teacher out of the situation. And he's pissed because he calls her a traitor. Because earlier she found out what the disciples were being sold to, and she even found out she was recently sold to this one place. And she already had her slave seal on her body. Because also the teacher took Wuhan's treasure, which was filled with like a lot of gems and money and stuff that his family gave him to send him off to be taught by a cultivator. He bought that, which is what hinted the girl off on this thing. Note that the little boy is still very confused, so he tries to attack Dr. Bro and say like, you're being mean to my teacher. And then this girl backhands the little boy and says, don't ever call that monster your teacher ever again. And then we proceed to traumatize every single person in that building about the truth. And that's when we find the ledgers about how much he got for every single person that he sold, including how much he made off of Wuhan. So Dr. Bro takes all the money, by the way, gets everyone a ride back to the mortal realm and stuff like that. It's like, you can either come with me and we can set you up at the medical valley or stuff like that, or I can just send you all home or somewhere safe away from here. So he does that. He also takes the soul of the teacher and puts him like in a little lantern. He's like, you are going to be my angel's present. Does all that, saves him, thank God. Sets the whole place on fucking fire. Like, hallelujah, finally. Goes back home, and Wuhan is, still waiting for him. And then once he gets there, it's nighttime, and they go somewhere secluded so that he can celebrate his birthday. He made sure that he came exactly right before midnight on Wuhan's birthday. So right before the 14th. He gave him his presents. The first one was 100% his freedom from the seal. So he was no longer a slave. And like, hopefully his body could start to grow and like his cultivation can actually prosper now. And then he gave him his teacher's soul. He even said, use it as a stress toy. Shake it up a little bit. Anger issues. If you ever feel like you want to off yourself, just take it out on him, please. And then the last thing he does, is get a cake. Like, not a big cake, it's like a cupcake with like, he makes a pretend candle because he doesn't actually have any actual candles. But he makes sure that, Wuhan makes a wish, and then he shoots up fire to make fireworks in the sky. And you would think, oh, that's really cute, right? And it's almost near the end. Oh, you would think wrong. So, the heavens really hate the fact that the seal was broken and then purposely tried to attack Wuhan with lightning. It wasn't even like a trial. It was literally, we're going to spite you, like Zeus. And he was supposed to survive like 9 thunderstrikes, right? Every thunderstrike got stronger and stronger and stronger. So Dr. Bro was saying this, and he's like, oh, the heavens are cheating. They don't want him to pass. They're literally trying to kill him. So he starts throwing like healing stuff and lectures at him to be like, please survive this, please survive this. And Bro is already getting crispied. So at the last lightning attack, Dr. Bro knows he's not going to survive this. He's not going to survive this. He's like, okay. And he throws himself in front of the final thunderstrike. So half of his body is crisped up. So we traumatized Wuhan again. Oh, jeez. That freaked him out. He tries to calm down, control himself, because he needs to be a doctor. He was taught he can do this. So he does that, stabilize him, takes him home, and just like is trying to heal him. But now he is beyond pissed. He's like, I will burn this world to the ground for what they did to you. Because literally, they did nothing. It was his birthday. Then we cut to where Long John is. Long John, after being kind of kicked out of the Valley Estate, went and just got a little angry at someone, found someone that he just wanted to kill. So he started doing that, getting information. It was just pretty messy. It was pretty messy. It was also very dark. And that's when we get his monologue about being kind of a little bit obsessed with Dr. Bro as well. So, and that's where we end. That's where we end book 1. You find out both yanderes are kind of bloodlust, and those lock bugs cannot control the yanderes. I'm a little scared for book 2 because the cover for book 2 shows Wuhan and Long John going at it a little bit with the giant snake in the back. Although the giant snake only technically loves the doctor because he saved him and took care of him. But the Dr. Bro was like, okay, well, this place isn't really suitable for your like growth as a snake to be as big as you are now. So you had to go live with Long John, which the snake hates. But he also got rejected. Homeboy literally flung the snake out of the door, and I was like, that's a little bit rude. Okay, but also again, kind of shows that Dr. Bro has a little bit of a bloodlust side of himself. So that's perfect for each other in a sense. I'm scared for what happens in book 2. I'm hoping Long John and Wuhan can set aside their differences and obsessions for the greater good, because Dr. Bro is currently crispy. Anyway, my next book talk is going to probably be about The White Cat's Divine Scratching Post, because I am 60 pages into that already, and already I love the fact that it's lighthearted. Holy crap. I've been reading dramatic books after dramatic books, and I'm so happy for something lighthearted. So look forward to that. Anyway, have a nice day.